Yo, pana, funde la grasa, nigga.
Feel like the one, feeling is stuck. This ain't no whack, that's dime in the cup. Light on my shoulders, I'm getting them rough. Money don't fold up, I feel like Pac in the tub. Showered in gold chains, knots on me. They got the slices, I stay with the block of cheese. Broccoli pressure, both cost me 43. Hey, I stay in my lane, don't fuck with no one. Fuck with no one. Whoa. If you mad, hold your horses, I'm still going up. You cannot stop it, just sit back and watch it. I pull up in different whips, yeah, I got options. Don't play with that sneak dissing, boy, you chatters. Just see me in person that wanna talk about it. I feel like I'm, who you feel like? I feel like I'm pocking the tub with the chains on. Whole lot of gold. They want me to turn it down, I gotta stay on. And never go out. We ain't dimming the lights, no. Going out like their bikes. 12 o'clock. Everybody eating over here. Having more than one bite. Only the team get to play. Why? Only the team get to stay. Yeah. Silver spoon with Derrick with me. Dogs aggressive like they never ate. Savages. Ops too quiet on the other side. Where they at? But I know they ain't plotting. Fuck with me, you die. No, I ain't playing. Telling me what? Don't give a fuck. They gon' talk when you down, they gon' talk when you up. I take what they say, along with the eighth. Kept me a wood, then I burn it up. Pocket the tub, chains on me. Feel like a dub, lot of guns. All got kickback, Daniel. Son still score when they foul. One need mine and some, plus spray on my body.
Yo. Yo, what's going on, y'all? We back in the building, man. Shout out to the nation. Shout out to the mob. We in the building as always, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful night, man. This is Marcus Rosa, a.k.a. Mazuma TV, back at y'all with some more boxing talk, man. Shout out to everybody that's in the building so far, man. If you can hit the like button as soon as you come in, we got some things that we need to discuss, man. Let's get the visibility up. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody that's in the building, man. Y'all must be getting y'all notifications because y'all definitely coming in. You know what I mean? So shout out to everybody that's showing love right now, man. Shout out to Jay Cash in the building, man. I had to pin that message right there, man. He says to hit the like on the way in. That's a fact, my brother. I appreciate all the support that you've been giving me. You know what I mean? One of the day ones, Jay Cash is, man. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. We got some things that we need to discuss, man. Some things better than others, but regardless, we're going to get into it, man. We're going to speak about Derrick James seemingly confirming his split with Errol Spence Jr. in the latest interview. And Tszyu's team, man, are they underestimating Sebastian Fundora? Are they not? We're going to get into this discussion, man, because I feel like both of these things are important. And we could mix it up with the questions that the nation is having for your boy. You know what I mean? We definitely going to chop it up, man. But like I said, I hope before anything, I hope everybody's doing well. You know what I mean? Shout out to my boy Miles Jordan. He said, yo, what's going on, my brother? I hope everything's well with you, man. I'm chilling. I can't complain, man. Just another day in the office, man. You know what I mean? Can't really complain at all. I can't complain, man. Just another day. And had to make sure the audio was correct and all that. So let's get straight into it, man, because we already got double digits in here, man. Shout out to everybody that's tuned into your boy, man. Let's talk about this Derrick James and Errol Spence situation, man, because it's a highly unfortunate situation. Facts of Boxing providing his opinion. He says Spence a rat and traitor. No plans was going to beat Crawford that night. Paid Derrick James. No wonder he left for Ryan Garcia. The bag is over there. We definitely going to get into it, man, because I've heard situations. I don't know if it's true. No, I had seen some things where it was like, Derrick James is suing Errol Spence over a money issue or whatever. From what I understand, from what the people have been saying, and this is all alleged, I'm not sure. I don't have the facts in front of me. I'm just speaking on it because it's something that's being put out in the boxing world as of right now. But from what I understand, they're saying that they're suing, that Derrick James is suing because of a money situation. You know what I mean? Which is basically why you would sue somebody over a financial dispute. You know what I mean? But apparently, Errol Spence had paid him a percentage of the guaranteed purse, and pretty much excluded him out of the money that he had gotten on the back end. You feel what I mean? So let's say it was 10%, because managers typically get 10% of a fighter's purse. You feel what I mean? So let's say Errol was guaranteed $2 million to fight Crawford, right? I don't know the numbers. I don't know. PBC don't be really telling people what they fighters get paid for real. But let's say publicly it was announced that, let's say Errol got 3. Let's say Errol got 3 million. 10% of 3 million obviously is 300,000. So that 300,000 will be going in Derrick James' direction. However, let's say it was a situation where Errol Spence actually got 25 million. Now we're talking about 300,000 in comparison to 2.5 million. Huge difference. You know what I mean? So I can understand from that if it's true. Huge if. I don't know. You know what I mean? So if Derrick James or somebody watching, bro, I don't know, bro. So I'm not speaking as if I know this. You feel what I mean? But I know there's a significant difference between 300,000 and 2.5 million. Shit. What would you rather have in your bank account? Case closed. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that. But we definitely going to get into it. Law school work, been catching. But we on the grind, man. Yo, shout out to you, man. You in law school. That's what's up, my brother. Keep it pushing, man. Gonna be some huge rewards at the end of that. So keep grinding, my brother. Joe Dirt says, who you think Spence should go to next? And do you think his career is over? Because he's never gonna be the same after that Crawford loss. Well, that's up for interpretation. We gonna have to wait and see if that's true. You know what I mean? But typically when fighters do take a lot of damage like that, they lose some of their self, you know what I mean, in the ring. They say every time that you fight and you step out that ring, you become less and less of who you are. It's like a health bar, and it just gets smaller and smaller. And he accumulated a lot of damage against Bud, so that might be true. You know what I mean? It might be true. And with his previous accidents and stuff like that, you might be on to something. You know what I mean? But in terms of who do I think Spence should go to next, I mean, there's great coaches out here, man. If you want to keep it in Texas, he could probably go to Ronnie Shields, where Jamal Charlo's at. That might be a good trainer for him. Ronnie Shields is a quality trainer. If he wants to expand his horizons and travel elsewhere for training camp, or maybe he's a big enough fighter where the trainer could probably travel to him. Errol Spence, he said that he started off boxing with a Mexican trainer. You know what I mean? He started in a Mexican boxing gym out there in Texas. So, Robert Garcia might be a good fit for him, because Errol's not like a slick black fighter. You know what I'm saying? He that's just not who he is. He's a stepper, just like I was saying about Frank Martin. You know what I mean? So maybe they could pick up some things from the Mexican school of boxing, man. Who knows? But, that's up for Errol to decide at the end of the day. I don't know who he feels like will be a good choice for him. But, if I had to really think about it, Ronnie Shields got some quality guys there. From what I understand, Ronnie Shields got Jamal Charlo still over there working. I think he got David Morrell as well. You know what I mean? So, Ronnie Shields has always been a quality trainer as far as I'm concerned. If the allegations are correct, Errol Spence is indeed a ratvious. For sure. Shout out to my boy Chris with the $2 super chat. He said, not surprised AJ left, but Spence was unexpected. Yeah, that definitely caught me off guard, man, because these guys actually have history. They made a name off of each other. Derrick James had been training Errol since the amateurs. You know what I mean? But if you pay close attention to what Errol was saying, he said he never wanted to train with Derrick James, that his dad will give him like money to convince him to stay with Derrick James. So they didn't start off clicking. You know what I mean? I guess Errol seen a lot of success that he was having with Derrick James. They was a dynamic duo for a long period of time. So I guess he felt like, shit, I'm benefiting off of this situation. I'm winning fights, so I'm going to just stick with the guy. You know what I mean? But if you listen to his story talking about the whole situation, he never wanted to train with Derrick James. You know what I mean? So just be mindful of that. But AJ, yeah, he a flip-flopping ass dude, man. He ever since he's lost to Andy Ruiz and stuff like that, he's been like second-guessing his training. So, he was all over the place. He was with Rob McCracken, I believe. Then he went over to Robert Garcia. Then he went to Derrick James. Now he's over there with that the dude that Ben Davison, you know what I mean, who's a quality trainer as well. But regardless, man, yeah, he definitely a flip-flopping ass dude. You think it's possible? You think it's possible Derrick James and Earl had an old school handshake agreement, nothing in writing or contract? Well, I don't believe, as far as I'm concerned, I'm gonna hate to double check that, but I don't think a trainer can have a contract with their fighter. You know what I mean? I don't think that's a thing. You know what I mean? Which is why a lot of trainers actually become their fighters managers and advisors and stuff like that, so they can have something in writing, so they can solidify their pay. But I don't think trainers and fighters can have contracts with each other. I should know this, but I don't know. It's not really clicking in my head right now. Deontay Wilder completely changed after that first and second Fury fight. Well, I think it was really the second and the third, to be honest with you. I think that Wilder was fine after the first fight. You know, he didn't really take a lot of damage, but that second fight, he accumulated a lot of damage. And the third fight seemed like it was the nail in the coffin. You see what I mean? So I think that's what really changed him more than anything, the second and the third fight. Appreciate the comment, though. He says, Errol Spence, don't come back, stay retired. You're fucked up for doing that to Derrick. I mean, we don't know the news yet. You know what I mean? But I'm going to get into the clip that Derrick James had responded to the whole questions. He did an interview with Cigar Talk, man. Shout out to Cigar Talk for providing the content and giving us some sort of answers as of right now. You see what I mean? So I'm not going to jump out the window and you know, nobody has really came out and said anything, but you know, there's a lot of things that is alluding to it being truthful, whether it's Errol Spence unfollowing Derrick James on social media, you know, or it's Errol Spence saying that he needs to find a new home, or if it's Derrick James' latest interview with Cigar Talk. It's all pointing to the idea that it is true. You know what I mean? So, yeah, but we don't even know why they split. You know, in all honesty, maybe it could easily be a situation where Derrick James, you know, wants more money. Earl feels like he can't really give him the money that he's looking for. You know, he probably doesn't feel like it's in his best interest financially to do so. It could be so many things. You know, we speculating right now. We just showing interest to a rumor. We don't know the details just yet. You know what I mean? So we just you know, chopping it up. You know, just for the hell of it. You know what I mean? Just to talk boxing. But regardless, it's an unfortunate situation, man, because I would have never thought that Earl and Derrick James would have split. You know what I mean? Um, you know, it was kind of unfortunate where Earl Spence split with his strength and conditioning coach, Blu-ray. You know, I thought that he was doing really well with Blu-ray. And when he was actually doing that strength and conditioning, that's when he was like on a hell of a run with the knockouts. For some reason to this day, I don't know why he split with Blu-ray. He started to do his own shit. He wanted to take things into his own hands. And, you know, I guess he felt like he knew what was best for him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand why he did that. And, you know, leaving Derrick James now, it's like what's going on? You know what I mean? What's the reasoning behind that? That's supposed to be your day one guy, you know? But, you know, I always hear this. Shout out to Michelle Rosado, Raging Babe. You know, she's in the boxing. She was in the boxing industry for a pretty long time. Got some big fights done behind the scenes. She says that all these fighters are the same. There's no loyalty with these fighters. You know what I mean? And it brings me back to the time where Triple G and Abel Sanchez had a dope relationship, man. Abel Sanchez pushed for Triple G like nobody else, man. I'm sure that Abel looked at Triple G like a son. And they grinded together. They came up together. You know, they made history together, you know, especially at middleweight. And as soon as Triple G locked in that huge deal with the zone and stuff like that, Triple G, you know, started being stingy with the money with Abel. You know what I mean? And, you know, he looked like a traitor from that point on, man. I lost a lot of respect for Triple G in that situation. And if it's a similar situation with Earl, then I'm gonna lose respect for him as well, man. My standard don't change for a fighter. You know, I am a big fan of Earl Spence. I love his style. I love how, you know, he stands on just wanting to do legacy defining things. You know, I like them qualities in a boxer. However, and it also brings me back to the Daniel Jacobs and Andre Rozier situation, where he split from Andre Rozier. He ended up going back to him. They ended up making amends and, you know, squashing their beef or whatever. But it was unfortunate to see that situation fall apart due to money. You know what I'm saying? So it seems like it's a common theme, man. You know, these trainers put up with a lot of bullshit from fighters. You know, some fighters, they might start off boxing and get a $500 check for their pro debut, you know. And if we going off a 10% standard, you know, a trainer got to put in 6 to 8 weeks of work with a fighter and get $50 in return. You know what I mean? They sacrifice time. They're in the gym just as much as the fighter is, if not more, because they may be training multiple fighters on different schedules. You know, trainers go through a lot, man. But because they're not the ones fighting, nobody really give a fuck to talk about them. You know what I'm saying? So it's unfortunate that Derrick James, you know, he started with Errol and he ain't have nothing. You know what I'm saying? Facts of boxing. Who the fuck you talking to, bro? Who said I'm defending Spence? Who said I'm defending Spence? I just said, like, are you listening or are you just trying to provoke some type of confrontation? Because if that's the case, you would get the fuck up out of here. What I just said was, it's crazy. I literally just said it, that if that's the case where Errol Spence doing that, I'm going to lose respect for this man. So what we doing? Like, is you here to talk shit or you here to talk boxing? Y'all be talking real bold on this on these in these chat rooms and shit like that. You know what I mean? Pay attention to what somebody's saying before you jump to conclusions, calling niggas fanboys and all that shit. Like, watch your mouth. Fuck. Anyway. So yeah, man, like I would lose respect for Errol Spence for that. You know what I'm saying? Because that is an unfortunate situation. It's a real unfortunate situation. Shout out to my boy G-Bo in the building. He said, talk about it, Mark. No, it's a fact. Trainers go through a lot, man. You know, trainers make a lot of sacrifices for their fighters. They sacrifice a lot of time, money. You know, there's been situations where, you know, I've had to drop my son off for the day, you know, just recently for the Golden Glove tournament. I had to drop him off around like 3 p.m. and I wasn't able to get him till 11 p.m. A whole day done went by and I wasn't able to spend that time with my son. And mind you, I only have him every other weekend. So I try to cherish those moments as much as I can, try to appreciate the moment while I'm in it. You know what I mean? But, you know, sometimes boxing takes the time away from you. You know, I've heard trainers say that they missed seeing their kids' first steps because they were in training camp getting their guys ready for a fight. You know what I'm saying? Trainers are they're the most betrayed people in the boxing game. You know what I mean? Fighters get fucked over, you know, promoters get fucked over, managers get fucked over, but don't nobody get there's nobody in the boxing game that deals with as much BS as the trainer. You know, but like I said, since they're not the ones fighting, they're not the main character in the story, nobody really care to talk about them. So I'm sure Derrick James making some great money, man. You know, we could chalk that up because of Errol Spence, you know, because without Errol Spence, we wouldn't know Derrick James. But what could very well be true is that people probably wouldn't know Errol Spence if it wasn't for Derrick James. Because Derrick James essentially built that kid from the bottom and built him up to a unified welterweight world champion. These are things that we do know. Silks Bando says trainers know what they sign up for. I mean, of course. I mean, that's a fact, you know. But boxers know what they sign up for too, and people still sympathize with them. So why couldn't they sympathize with a trainer? Because nobody really cares for the trainer. That's the point that I'm trying to make. You see what I mean? Like boxers, they be getting shorted out of money. You know, they get put on the shelves by promoters. You know, there's fighters that might get a BS decision that didn't go their way. You know, but that's part of the game, right? That's what they signed up for. But people sympathize with them. They rarely sympathize with the trainer. That's the point I'm trying to make. It is messed up. So Jibo says it looks like a thankless job in most cases. Yeah, man. Trainers are very underappreciated. So it always makes me happy to see fighters really show love to their trainers. You know what I mean? I understand that Bozy and Jerron Ennis is deeper than a trainer-fighter relationship because they are father and son. But it's always dope to see the bond that they both have. You know what I mean? With them boxing. Boots always giving his dad credit, lifting him up and stuff like that. You know, you rarely hear fighters praise their trainers. You know what I mean? Because I do think that fighters get to a certain point in their careers where they feel like they're the reason why everything is going well. And, you know, it's an individual sport at the end of the day. So, you know, it's mainly you. You know what I mean? Because we could give you instructions all day, but if you're not able to execute them, then you're fucked. So I understand it's it's an individual sport and it solely relies on you to be successful in the game. But trainers are the ones that's instructing you, guiding you, giving you advice. You know, might be there for you during some rough times. Trainers are more than trainers, man. You know what I mean? A lot of these trainers are therapists. You know, a lot of these trainers could be financial advisors. You know what I mean? It's so many things. I've heard of trainers bailing fighters out of jail and shit like that. Like these are things that trainers do for their fighters. It's a lot of sacrifices, man. But Oscar De La Pase says, you might have answered this previously, but pretend Canelo grew a pair of huevitos and fought Benavidez. Who you got? I mean, I got David Benavidez all day, but maybe that's just me being biased because I'm a huge David Benavidez fan. But I just think stylistically and at this point in time of Canelo's career, I think it just plays out in David Benavidez's favor. I think that Canelo Alvarez is on the decline. You know, a lot of people was trying to remove that stigma from Canelo Alvarez after that Jermell Charlo fight, but to keep it a buck, Jermell Charlo didn't provide any resistance, you know. So we don't really know whether Canelo is on the decline or not. But based off of his previous performances prior to Jermell Charlo, I'm under the belief that he is on the decline. He is older. You know, he's been through a lot of training camps. He has a lot of wear and tear on his body, and he is slowing down. You know what I mean? David Benavidez, on the other hand, bigger, way bigger dude. You know what I mean? A huge super middleweight, fast hands, great conditioning, pressure fighter, good jab, good lead right hand. He goes to the body, good. Pause. He's defensively responsible. Contrary to popular belief, there's people that are under the assumption that David Benavidez doesn't have any defense, and I think he does because how often do you see this man get hit? He's had two top-tier opponents back-to-back, and I don't recall many times where he was accumulating damage like Jaime Munguia or anything like that. So he has some great qualities. And with Canelo Alvarez not having the best condition and not having the best gas tank, I feel like David Benavidez is in a great position to become victorious against Canelo Alvarez. You feel what I mean? I think that he could overwhelm him with pressure. I think that he could drown him in the later rounds. I really think that David Benavidez is capable of punishing Canelo Alvarez or at least stopping him. You know what I'm saying? David Benavidez understands range well enough to get himself up out of the way when shots are being thrown in his direction. I was just watching the Caleb Plant David Benavidez fight. PBC just posted it a couple hours ago. I was watching. I think I watched all the way to like the 10th round. And there weren't many moments where Caleb Plant was, you know, hitting him with clean headshots or anything like that. So David Benavidez, and you never really see him bruised, beat up, or anything like that. You know, David Benavidez does have flaws. I do think that his footwork is probably the worst quality about his game. He seems to bring his feet too close together at times, so he's not always he doesn't have the best balance. You know, he falls over on his right hand sometimes. You know, he'll put too much into a shot and fall over on the ropes and shit like that. But and that's essentially why he had gotten dropped by like Ronald Gavril. He wasn't hurt. You know, he was just off balance. He wasn't in position. And he got hit with a shot that threw him off balance. You know what I mean? So that's probably Benavidez's biggest flaw, but I think that he has everything within him stylistically to defeat Canelo Alvarez or possibly even stop him. I know it's far-fetched to see Canelo Alvarez get stopped at this point in time because we've rarely seen him hurt and shit like that, but I think that he can accumulate enough damage to get Canelo up out of there. That's what I personally believe. But then again, Canelo has a lot of experience, so he may know how to survive. But regardless, I think that David Benavidez could defeat Canelo Alvarez right now. Silks Bando, he says, I really do think the Benavidez and Canelo fight that happens is not on our time. Well, it's not really ever on our time, bro. You know, boxing fans are very disrespected. And at this point in time, it seems like, you know, they give us the fight whenever whenever the hell they feel like it. And we just gotta sit back and wait, unfortunately. You know what I mean? We don't deal with this with football, basketball, not even MMA. But, you know, over here, we deal with it. You feel me? So it is what it is. What can I really say? There's nothing I can really do about it, unfortunately. Being for real, Derrick James seems like a genuine guy, and he felt that their relationship was deeper than boxing. Derrick really could have up and left after EJ's accident, but he stuck by him. Yo, Ralph, those are facts. Those are absolute facts. And I was going to get into that too, man. You know, Derrick James was with Errol Spence during some really tough times, man. You know, Derrick James could have easily advised Errol Spence to retire from the sport, or he could have easily withdrawn from being Errol Spence's coach because he felt like he could have easily felt like Errol Spence, you know, shouldn't return to the sport of boxing. You know what I mean? There's been several situations where he could have walked away. He could have walked away immediately after the Terrence Crawford fight, you know, but you never heard anything about that. You know, as far as I'm concerned, Earl's doing that saying he needs to find a new home, you know? So it's an unfortunate situation, man. Like I said, bro, I hate to see shit like this, man. You know, in a perfect world, I would have loved to have seen Errol Spence and Derrick James stick it out, pause until, you know, they both walk away from the sport of boxing, or at least Errol walks away from the sport of boxing. But at the same time, I've heard Derrick James in interviews say that he doesn't want to be in boxing for too much longer. You know what I mean? He said that he has like this the Derrick James Foundation and things like that. And he said that after, what did he say? He said that after all his fighters retired and he's done, he's not accepting any more fighters. And then when they all retire, he's going to be done with boxing. He doesn't want to be in boxing too much longer. So, I mean, maybe he's content with Earl walking away. You know what I mean? Who knows? I don't know. Only Derrick James knows that. But, you know, Ralph made a great point, man. He stuck with Earl through some tough times. And it sucks that money, from what we're hearing, you know, that's the rumor. It sucks that allegedly money is the reason why they're no longer around each other. You know what I mean? But let me pull up this interview from Cigar Talk, man. Shout out to Cigar Talk for, you know, providing, you know, the platform, providing the interview for us to, you know, really digest and, you know, really speak on. I'm not dropping any links today, Dub. My fault. I ain't dropping any links. But let me see. Cigar Talk. Let's pull that up. Derrick James. Let me see if I could
tank or whatever, but when somebody still got it, like, I don't mean got it necessarily physically, but mentally, that he still want to keep going in the sport because he's accomplished a lot. I think that. But I say, how do you, as the trainer, be like, all right, I know based on this? Well, I mean, that's him. That's gonna be a possibility for him also. Is it a possibility to you a rematch with Crawford? Like, is that something that you would want as the coach? I mean, that's up to him. I'm not involved in it. I mean, like, the fighters fight who they want to fight. I mean, I don't. You don't have a preference. Like, would you want to see that? Go like this. I would say this: if you're gonna fight,
I'm gonna say this though. From the interview that I had watched with Cigar Talk and Derrick James, he was saying that you could tell that Derrick James really don't watch boxing, bro. Like, he's a great trainer. He understands the sport very well. You know, he knows the fundamentals really well and stuff like that. But he really don't watch film because he was pretty much saying how, like, all these fighters fight the same. And I was sitting here thinking, like, he was talking about, like, the young guys that's on the come up, they all essentially fight the same. Like, talking about Tszyu. He made Tank the exception. He says that Tank does a little bit of everything. He's well-rounded, which is true. But he was speaking about how, like, Tszyu, Shakur, Devin Haney, that they all fight the same and shit like that. I was like, what? Like, do you watch these guys? You know, and then I remember a while back he had said that Jerron Ennis was just like athletic. And I'm like, well, he is athletic. He's definitely athletic, but there's much more to Jerron Ennis than just being athletic. You know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, you could tell that he probably like watches little clips, but he don't really sit there to pay attention. You know what I mean? He don't really sit there and, pay attention to the details of the situation. You know what I mean? He gets like the gist of who they are and then he just rocks with that. So you could tell that, Derrick James, maybe he not too invested in the sport as he should be. And that might be why, a lot of people believe that he's on a decline right now. Let's see.
It's taken away from focus, or do you feel like?
I mean, but listen, that's hearsay.
Yeah.
Keep that. I don't.
It was a great interview, by the way.
It's like the people I'm not gonna quit what I want you to do. We're gonna do it. At the same time,
some of these big guys, is it the same?
Everything is about developmental, right? So it's like doing something.
All right, it was around this time frame.
It's not working.
Yeah.
Let's just get it, And really, boys think, okay, I can enhance my game, but this is
Work, I think, really good at great at long range. Mid range is good.
Yeah.
I don't think he might into somebody like that.
Well, I think everything's game. I think that I ain't talking about. Someone beat him tight. So
Let's take this.
No, I mean,
He said he don't study film. Well, I never even heard him say that, but I could just tell based off of the things that he says that he really doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Which is kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy for a trainer not to study footage. You know what I mean? But I do remember a point in time where he said he studied Mikey Garcia and he noticed that, like his feet need to be planted in order for him to shoot certain shots and stuff like that. So he just wanted to keep him off balance with the jab. And that was one of Errol Spence's more like disciplined performances. You know what I mean? So I wonder what changed since then. I wonder what made him study Mikey, but not study Bud. You know what I'm saying? Not study Sean Porter. Like what made that sudden change? Did you just start to feel yourself? Like, pause. Like, what was the situation?
But like there's a point to where if like a big fight go, no, I'm not doing that.
Right. But Evan, at one point, they was going.
So I think that
My fault. I'm just trying to find that section.
As far as media is concerned and all that shit, like
I talked to my maybe 3 weeks ago.
Okay, this is it right here. So I don't want to show the content. I ain't trying to be copyrighted. I'm gonna just hey y'all listen to the audio.
You know what? When you speak to him, like where is his mind at, or what's the energy with as far as media is concerned and all of that shit? Like, you know what? When you speak to him, like where is
He's
his
referring
mind
to
at?
Errol Spence.
What's the energy with
I mean, I'm focused on my other guys, so I'm really not. I talked to him maybe 3 weeks ago, whatever. But it's like, and we talked like for Frank and Tank or whatever. But it's like, you just got to focus on everybody. You can't look back. That's the issue. Everybody keep looking back, right? You can't look.
Pay close attention to that. He said that the last time they spoke was about 3 weeks ago, Derrick James and Errol Spence. But when they did speak, they just spoke about Frank and Tank. You know what I mean? Because Errol Spence is Frank Martin's promoter, Man Down Promotions, and Derrick James is Frank Martin's trainer. So it seems like they were just speaking about, that specific situation. They weren't really talking about themselves as a team. It seemed like they were just speaking about, it was a promoter-trainer discussion, just discussing the upcoming fight between the fighter and, their possible opponent. So it doesn't seem like they're speaking on a standpoint of, trainer and fighter. And then he also says this right here.
Tank or whatever, but it's like, you just got to focus on everybody. You can't look back.
Can't look back.
Everybody keep looking back, right?
That's the issue. Everybody keep looking back.
You can't move forward and looking back. Bump into everything that's in front of you.
Yeah.
So I think that, that's, I mentally, I guess he's okay.
Do you feel like, because I feel like only the fighters and the trainers know when somebody's still got, like, I don't mean got it necessarily physically, but mentally that he's still.
Well, I'm gonna just stop that right there. But pretty much he said, yo, that's the problem. Everybody keep looking back. If you keep looking back, you're gonna bump into everything as you're moving forward. So yo, these dudes are goofy. This goofy Mexican boxing says, saw the beginning of the stream. Yeah, the guy was speaking facts. You were being a fanboy defending Spence the Crook. 100% facts. I mean, if that's how you're taking it, then obviously you have comprehension deficiencies. And I would strongly recommend that you take your dumb ass back to, you know, middle school, maybe elementary, you know what I mean, junior high school, I think you need to sit in them rooms alone with that one like social worker and pronounce these words very carefully, read through them little passages or whatever, and then answer those multiple choice questions, you know what I mean? And try to stay as focused as you can, because that's something that you definitely lack. Because if you did watch since the beginning of the stream, I fucking told you that I would lose respect for Errol Spence if he were to do this to Derrick James. You know what I mean? Like, if he were to strictly walk away from him because of a money situation, I would lose respect for him. If I'm losing respect for somebody, how is that me defending them? You're an absolute idiot. like motherfuckers, bro. They just I don't know if they do it simply to get a rise out of me, a reaction out of me, which they're doing, but or they just completely don't understand, bro. You know what I mean? These dudes are absolute like idiots. But anyway, so that's what Derrick James says in that interview right there, and I feel like that was enough for me to confirm the rumors being true. You know what I mean? Because if he was still working with Errol Spence, I don't think he would have said that, talking about things being behind him and he just has to continue. He has to just keep moving forward. I don't think he'll be speaking from that perspective if, he was still currently working with Errol Spence. That's what I believe. You know what I'm saying? That's how it comes across to me, in all honesty. So it's unfortunate. You know what I mean? It's definitely unfortunate. Sooner than later it's going to be confirmed, and more details are going to be revealed. But Derrick James, I really love watching that man's training sessions. I picked up some of the things that he does during pad work and stuff like that. I think his pad work was top notch, in all honesty. I love how he really focused in on the fundamentals and how sound Errol Spence was, and just beating guys with the basics. They had a great dynamic. It looked like they had a solid relationship. It looked like they had looked at each other as family at one point in time. But all it takes is a disagree. A lot of the reasons why these beefs be going on in this world that we currently in, is usually because of women and money. You know what I mean? That's why a lot of beefs grow between men, because they have a disagreement with money, or a woman that's in between them, man. That's what it seems to be most of the time. You feel what I mean? And it just seems like this is no different. It just seems like they're not agreeing with, the check. You know what I mean? But, this is all we don't know if this is true. That'll come to the light in due time. But you know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much it. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate, bro. Very unfortunate. But like I said, this ain't the first time we're gonna see this. This ain't gonna be the last time we see this. Like I said, we seen this situation unfold with, Triple G and Abel Sanchez, which I lost a lot of respect for Triple G for. Daniel Jacobs and Andre Rozier. Like, Andre Rozier was around Daniel Jacobs when this man was getting through cancer, bro. Cancer. And you walk away from him because of money. You know what I mean? You don't never really know the character of a person that you're dealing with until money is put in front of you. You know what I mean? So if this is a case, if this is a situation, that's the reason why they split apart, is due to money issues. Errol Spence not giving Derrick James, what he deserves, in all honesty, because I believe Derrick James, he's owed a lot for the sacrifices he's made throughout the course of his life and career, for Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if you're getting $25 million and that man is obligated to 10%, pay that man his 2.5, man. You know what I mean? But You know, not everybody really see it that way. You know, the fighters don't really be concerned with trainers. They just want they want trainers. You know what I mean? But they don't really care to really take care of them. Like, you know, ain't no shot at Gervonta Davis or anything like that. But I remember there was a situation where Calvin Ford said that he was living in like a 1-bedroom apartment. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, Gervonta Davis, one of the most well-paid fighters in the world, and Coach Calvin is living in a 1-bedroom apartment in Baltimore? Wow, you just bought this multi-million-dollar condo in Baltimore because you wasn't allowed to leave the city? And that man was taking care of you and driving you to all these tournaments without a dollar. You without a dollar while you was coming up in foster homes. And, you know, I heard stories about like Gervonta Davis sleeping outside the gym and all types of stuff. And this is how he gets repaid. He has a 1-bedroom apartment. I don't have a 1-bedroom apartment. I got more bathrooms than he got bedrooms, bro. And I ain't making nowhere near as much as Gervonta Davis is making. I'm not shit. I don't have no fighters that's making anywhere near what Gervonta Davis is making. And I'm doing better than Coach Calvin. How? That's boxing for you, man. So I don't know. Some people just got their priorities fucked up. You know, that's why I respect Canelo Alvarez from that standpoint, man. He took care of his guys. Eddie Reynoso, Chepo Reynoso, they good. They millionaires. You know what I'm saying? He put them in position. He ain't just give them a boxing check. He made sure they was good for life. You know what I mean? Who else? What's another good dynamic? He took care of his. I mean, I'm trying to avoid the father-son dynamic because, of course, you know, like Kenny Porter, Sean Porter, Angel Garcia, Danny Garcia. Well, I'll tell you this: Floyd Mayweather took care of his uncles. His dads had cribs, his uncles had cribs. R.I.P. to Roger Mayweather, man. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Everybody around his team was winning. They was getting paid. The cruelty is real. Very much so, my brother. Very much so. All I know is if I'm getting these 30, 40, $50 million paydays, however much these motherfuckers getting paid, there ain't no way that my trainer gonna be living in nothing like a 1-bedroom apartment, bro. That's not happening. That's like a step away from a studio apartment. Nah, not at all. But then I think I recall him saying, "Oh, well, you know, whatever Tank asks for, whatever I ask Tank for something, he gives it to me. You know, I'm not somebody who what? You gotta ask him for something for him to give it to you. Why the fuck aren't you getting the pay necessary to just spend your own fucking money? Why you gotta ask this man for something like he your father? Shit, you was his father figure. Now you coming to him asking for shit like you his father. You got kids, bro. You gotta ask, like, if you want a car, you gotta call him and ask him for a car. How about him giving you the fucking money you need so you could buy your own fucking car? That's just me though, bro. I don't know. I know that ain't no fighter gonna have that type of dynamic with me. For all that, I wouldn't have no fighters. You feel me? So, it's crazy how these fighters be walking around with chains and be having $500,000 cars and all this shit, and then they trainer looking down bad. You know, I remember back in the day, from what I understand, you couldn't tell who was the one getting it because everybody looked like they was, their own boss. You couldn't tell who the leader was. Nowadays, it's like only the leader only give a fuck about satisfying his own hunger. You know, everybody around them could be starving. That's why a lot of these dudes be getting fucked over at the end. You know what I mean? That's why a lot of people in their teams be filled with envy because, they not doing what's necessary to take care of the people around them. They just watching them shine. You know what I mean? They trying to shine with you. They working with you. They trying to shine with you too. but you're only concerned about having yourself shine. So I don't know, man. It is what it is. That's a totally different discussion, man. But the next topic I wanted to get into, to close out this whole Derrick James and Errol Spence situation, man, it's a very, like I've said multiple times throughout this live, it's a very unfortunate situation. And I hope it's cat. I hope that I could come back to my lives or one of my videos and just be like, yo, man, thank God that this isn't true. You know what I mean? I'm glad that they still working together, blah, blah, blah. I hope that I can come back and say that this is cat, but if everything turns out to be true with them separating and it being because, Derrick James isn't getting what he truly deserves financially, then that's an unfortunate situation, bro. And I'm going to definitely look at Errol in a different light if he were to do so, because as long as I've been watching Errol, it seems like he was a pretty stand-up guy. Stuck that was a real family-oriented guy, put his people first and made sure everybody around him was good. You say your parents are retired and they'll never got to work again and your whole family set up. Meanwhile, the guy who that was a major key in putting you in position to, retire your family isn't getting what he deserves financially. You know what I mean? Malik says, I believe Pac took care of Freddie Roach. Yeah, it seems like Manny Pacquiao's a total opposite. It sounds like, from what I've been hearing, that he's so helpful that he forgets to help himself. It seems like he's the one that's struggling for money, because it seems like as soon as he gets it, he gives it away. I seen a video a while back where he was like walking out of his house in the Philippines and there was people lined outside his house and he had like wads of cash. You know what I mean? And he was just giving everybody a couple dollars until them stacks of cash were gone. And I'm sure that wasn't for the cameras. I'm sure that's something that he has done habitually, considering the fact that he had a whole line outside. That lets me know that he does it often, or at least he has a schedule in which he does it. So it seems like Manny Pacquiao is the complete opposite. It seems like he puts himself last, and isn't very responsible with his money because, he gives it all away. He makes sure everybody eats, and then when he comes to the table, he left with scraps. So he got to come back into the sport of boxing and try to get another payday, which is what he's attempting to do right now. Unfortunately, talking about him and Conor Ben, exhibitions, his old ass even trying to compete in the Olympics. If that don't tell you everything you need to know, then I don't know what would. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to the 26 people that's in the building right now, man. You hit the like button as soon as you come in if you appreciate the content, man. Let's get the visibility up. You know what I mean? We 48 minutes in, man. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. But let's get into the next topic, man. Let's get into the next topic. My boy, Tszyu. I'm not going to say my boy, but it's fight week for Tszyu and Sebastian Fundora along with Rolly Romero and Pitbull Cruz. You know what I mean? It's a great card that's going to be coming soon. Also want to mention Elijah Garcia versus Karan Davis. You know what I mean? Which is also 704 Joe. Is the split official? Well, I played a video of like an interview that Derrick James had done recently. And he alluded to the fact that, that Errol Spence situation is behind him. And he just has to continue moving forward. So I haven't heard a clear yes or no. But, with everything that's been presented to us lately, it seems like it's more true than not. Silks Bando said Mazuma. Meek Mill said he want party. Better go party his ass back at Diddy crib. You know what I mean? That shit ain't happening over here. I don't even party. I don't do none of that. We on two totally different times, my brother. We don't get into that. You feel me? 704 Joe says it's not official. I mean, it ain't. We, and I've made that clear. You know what I mean? I don't have the facts in front of me. We just speaking about it for the sake of just talking boxing. Errol Spence said that he's looking for a new home. And he made it clear he wasn't talking about PBC. Then he unfollows Derrick James on social media. Then Derrick James comes out with an interview saying that, that's behind him. He has to continue moving forward. talking about he doesn't really speak to Errol Spence. Last time they spoke, they was only speaking about Frank Martin. They wasn't speaking about each other. There's a lot of things, man. There's a lot of things that's going on that points to the fact that they may very well be split. You know, and there was a rumor that had came out like right after the Crawford fight that Spence and Derrick James had split. But it seems like that was put to rest because everybody was just playing it low key. You know what I mean? But these rumors are coming back around, and they may very well be some truth to it, unfortunately. Silks Bando says, them losses and big paydays be changing these fighters. That's a fact. And we see it happen pretty often. You know, when they all winning, it's all good. As soon as they take a loss or they have a bad performance, then they start looking at the team instead of looking at themselves. You know, a lot of fighters, you know, they get so arrogant that they lose their sense of accountability. You know, there could be situations where the trainer maybe did make some mistakes or maybe did give you the wrong advice. That very well could happen. You know, but like I said, this is an individual sport. You know, if you had a successful upbringing with the guy, then most likely he's a great trainer. And, you know, if you're understanding that, I feel like if you had success with this trainer, man, you should give this man the benefit of the doubt. You know, not everything is going to go according to plan every time. If you think that you're going to go through your entire career like Floyd or Andre Ward and just walk away undefeated, then you got another thing coming, man. Not everybody career pans out that way. That's actually very rare. You know, if we look at the greatest fighters of all time, you know, a lot of them have gotten knocked out. A lot of them have lost a fight. You feel what I mean? So the fact that they lose one fight and then they just question everybody around them instead of questioning themselves, it makes me scratch my head. You know what I mean? That's what happened with Rayo and Jose Benavidez Sr. He's still in Rayo's corner, but he's not the lead trainer anymore. Well, from what I understand, you know, Jose Benavidez still plays a part because he is his manager, and you know he assists him in the corner. So I'm not going to count that as the same. You know what I mean? If they have a good understanding and they on good terms, and you know Jose Benavidez Sr. is content with that, then it's not really an issue. I'm not going to look at Rayo any type of way. At least they were able to communicate and speak about it as men so they could come to a mutual understanding of something that they could all rock with. You know what I mean? And from what I understand, Rayo, that was his old trainer before. You know what I mean? So they did have a history, you know. So I don't know how to really take that situation, but you know, Jose Benavidez is still very involved in his career, still working his corner. They still have a great relationship. So I'm not going to count that the same as like these guys, you know, who get a nice paycheck and then, you know, they disregard the trainer that helped them get to that paycheck. You know what I mean? I don't look at that the same at all. I actually respect Rayo for keeping him around, keeping Jose Benavidez around. You know what I mean? I respect that a lot. But he just felt like he made a move that was for the best interest of himself and his career, you know, but didn't really blame Jose Benavidez for the loss, you know, because he still kept him around. He just added somebody that he felt could give him a better comeback story. You know what I mean? Jibo says, Mark, should you stay with your day one? I mean, I'll treat it on a case-by-case basis now. If there was a situation where, like, this trainer, you know, isn't showing up to the gym or, you know, he's not really that focused on you like he should be, or if you guys are having, like, disagreements on certain things or, you know, things get disrespectful or y'all have, like, a heated argument or something like that, you know, boundaries are crossed. It could be a lot of things. Then I can understand why they separate. But, you know, if you guys are have a great relationship, have a solid dynamic, y'all have a great chemistry, and then, you know, a bout doesn't go in your favor, and then you walk away from him as a result, then I look at you as somebody that, you know, lacks accountability, and, you know, and is ultimately somebody that nobody should want to work with. You know, you displaying a very bad quality. And if you have that lack of accountability as part of your character, then you know, you're gonna have problems everywhere you go. You know what I mean? Now, if it was also a situation where, you know, y'all having a lot of success, everything is going well, then the big bad come in your face, and now you want to reevaluate your team, I'm gonna look at you as a snake as well. You know what I mean? I feel like you should always stick with your day one, because if he helped you get there, if he made the sacrifices necessary for you to get there, then he should reap the benefits of the reward. You know what I mean? I feel like he should be there enjoying the fruits of the labor with you. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I personally believe. Silks Bando says, do you think Plant is becoming a journeyman? Not at this point in time. You know what I mean? He only has 2 losses, man. You know what I mean? I just think that he took 2 fights against two top super middleweights back to back. He came up short in both of them. He put on great efforts in both. It just so happened that they had what was necessary to defeat him. 2 just bad style matchups for him. This dude is a weirdo. You spitting false LDBC narratives. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you this right now, because I'm not even into LDBC, but I noticed that a lot of people, I got respect for the LDBC though. Like I rock with 78 and shit like that. But these racists that come online, you know what I mean? Like Alonzo Amazing, whatever the fuck his name is, probably the clown that we had roasted a while back. LDBC is another way of saying, that's just a way of saying, and I'm gonna just leave it like that. I'm not gonna really say too much. It was like when, remember when people were like calling Floyd, like people, they were calling black people Flomos. You know what I mean? Like we would be having discussions and they had nothing to do with Floyd Mayweather, and they'd be like, "Oh, you're just a Flomo." And we're like, "A Flomo? What the fuck is you talking about? Like a Flomo? We're not even talking about Floyd. Like what's?" But their whole thing was that was a code word for, a derogatory term for a colored person. You feel what I mean? So whenever they consider you to be in the LDBC, when you literally have no affiliation with the LDBC at all, that just lets you know that they putting you as the same category as them. See? There you go. There you go right there. They give you the answer right there. Thank you. Thank you. Now you can get the fuck up out of here with that racist shit you talking about. Tell your mom to eat a big bowl of dick for breakfast in the morning. You feel me? Weirdos. Anyway, shout out to William Jimenez. He said, "What up, Mark? Just here showing you love. God bless you and the fam. Keep doing your thing. Love your channel." Yo, William, I appreciate that very much, man. Thank you for the positivity. You know what I mean? You definitely have been a big supporter of the channel, and you always have positive words whenever you reach out to me. So thank you very much. You know what I mean? Shout out to William Jimenez, man. That's a good guy right there. Real positive person. But to answer your question, I don't feel like Caleb Plant is a journeyman. You know what I mean? Not at all. I think that, if he goes against the right style, he could very much become a top guy at 168 again, So, and he could have a good chance of defeating Jermall Charlo if they fight. You know what I mean? Especially at this point in time where Charlo is at, he might come up on top. Prior to the David Benavidez loss, he had the knockout of the year against Anthony Durrell. So, no, I don't think he's a journeyman. Now, if he were to go to fight Morrell and then lose to him, and then, he were to fight M. Billy or something and then lose to him, now we talking, but, I can't label somebody a gatekeeper that only has 2 losses. And they were all against the, arguably the number 1 and 2 guy at super middleweight. Canelo, he got all the belts. He number 1. David Benavidez, close number 2. There's no shame in losing to neither one of them if we keeping it real. But let's talk about Tszyu real quick, man. Let's talk about the situation that's going on with him. Like I said, they got a lit card coming up this Saturday. Tszyu versus Sebastian Fundora. Sebastian Fundora comes in last minute to replace Keith Thurman, who had, I think, ruptured his bicep or whatever. So, that's the fight that's currently going on. And we got Rolly Romero versus Isaac Cruz on the undercard, which may very well steal the show. Let's get him out of here, man. Gotta keep blocking these guys, man. They super weird. But anyway, it's a lit card that's going on March 30th, you know. But according to Michael Benson on Twitter, you know what I mean? According to Michael Benson, Michael Benson states, let me see. Let me pull up the exact thing. Damn. Hold on. I'm having trouble finding this. Oh, okay. According to Tszyu's manager, Glenn Jennings, Terrence Crawford versus Tszyu is already in talks to potentially happen next. You know what I mean? Fight would be for Tszyu's WBC and WBO super welterweight world titles if he beats Sebastian Fundora on Saturday night. So that's the post that Michael Benson has put out there, man. Shout out to Michael Benson for keeping us informed with what's going on in the boxing world. And I definitely got some questions. Now, do I like the Tszyu and Terrence Crawford fight being next? Absolutely. You know what I mean? I think that that's a great fight. You know, I was saying as soon as Terrence Crawford beat Errol Spence, that Tszyu should have been at the top of Terrence Crawford's list to pursue next. You know, the number one was Jermell Charlo, but, you know, Jermell fell off the face of the earth after losing to Canelo Alvarez. You know what I mean? He fell off the face of the earth, and you know, he's been pretty quiet since then. And I think he only has like one title left. You know, they stripped him of every belt, I believe. You know what I mean? So, you know, that fight is pretty much out the window. And Terrence Crawford lost interest in the Jermell Charlo fight after seeing how he performed against Canelo. So that fight seems to be out of the way. So next best option is Tszyu. It seems like he's doing everything he can to make this fight happen next. You know, he's made himself, you know, the WBO mandatory for Tszyu, which was a smart idea. I believe he did the same thing for Jeff Horn when he moved up to welterweight. So great move. You know what I mean? And 2 belts will be on the line if Tszyu defeats Sebastian Fundora. You know what I mean? So it's a unification fight. You know, one fight, Terrence Crawford moving up, and he could become unified as super welterweight and be a 4-division world champion. That's sensational. That's sensational, man. So I'm really with that. You know, I'm definitely with that. I'm really looking forward to seeing that fight happen. However, I have one concern, man. I'm going to ask the people that's on here. We got 20 people in the building. You see what I mean? So I genuinely got to ask you guys this question right here. I understand that Tszyu is the favorite. He may very well beat Sebastian Fundora. You know what I mean? There's people on here that says that Sebastian Fundora is tailor-made for Tszyu. You feel what I mean? And they might be right. They might be right. You feel what I mean? But what I want to ask the people is, are they underestimating Sebastian Fundora? Are they underestimating Sebastian Fundora, man? Let me see if I can do that, actually. That's actually a great idea. Let me see. Can I do it? Can I do that? I don't even know how to do that shit, bro. If Tim loses, he got a rematch clause. I didn't even know that. Well, that's true. He said, I want to see Virgil fight 2 more fights before he fights Bud or Tim. Yo, Tim Tszyu versus Virgil Ortiz, bro. That stylistic matchup, bro. Oh, my God. If that shit goes 7 rounds, I'd be surprised. Man, that'd be a hell of a fight. I would love to see that fight, bro. You know, 154 is about to get real interesting because for real, Xander Zaya's coming up in the division. You know, it's going to be a good little mix-up. You know, Jesus Ramos still around. Erickson Lubin still around. You know, that'd be dope. You know, Jermell Charlo might pop back up in the mix. We don't know, bro. So that division might get extremely interesting in a little bit. You know what I mean? It says PBC needs to give Boots minimum 2 fights a year. I think he deserves more than that, bro. I think Boots deserves to fight at least 3 to 4 times a year. You know what I mean? Depending on if he comes out unscathed or whatever. But, Boots hasn't really gotten touched yet. He comes out of the fights essentially, untouched. So if that's the case, man, you need to keep these guys active. We need to find a solution in boxing where these fighters could, fight 4 to 5 times a year. But I think a big problem with that is understanding that if they fight more often, they're just going to have to take pay cuts. And I don't think fighters don't really want to do that. You know what I mean? They want to preserve some damage. Yo, how many channels does this dude got, bro? This dude was just creating account after account. Shout out to him for the dedication, bro. It takes a certain type of weirdo to really sit there and, be that obsessed with a man where they got to make 20 channels and constantly, try to talk to you. T says the amount of fighters on the roster too. Yeah, that's something else to consider. Quantity could be really hurtful for a network, because you gotta satisfy every single fighter that's on that roster. So yeah. Yo, he definitely got like 60 channels though. That boy different. That boy dedication out this world. But Tszyu, I need to ask y'all, do y'all feel like Tszyu's team is underestimating Sebastian Fundora? Because if we listen to the greats like Floyd, Andre Ward, Bernard Hopkins, and shit like that, they always tell you to never underestimate your opponent, man. Because the guys that you tend to underestimate, they're the ones who could give you the hardest night in the ring. You feel me? So I'm not necessarily saying that it's Tszyu. Tszyu doesn't conduct his own business. His manager does. Do you think that Tszyu or his team is underestimating Sebastian Fundora at this point? Because the fight's not even here yet. The fight's not here. It's not solidified. He hasn't beat Sebastian Fundora yet. Yet, during discussions with Terrence Crawford of fighting next. You know what I mean? I don't think it's really a good idea to be discussing the possibility of another fight and be in negotiations for another fight when you have a fight date in front of you and it's not guaranteed whether you beat him or not. Do y'all think he underestimating him? Let me know. Because I heard Deontay Wilder has done that before where like he be in negotiations for a fight while he has another fight in front of him and he was like, oh, I'm not looking past my opponent, I'm seeing through them, which is essentially the same shit. You know what I mean? It's like clever wording or whatever, but essentially it's the same thing if you really think about it. Ralph says, I think Tim wins, but we've seen throughout the history of boxing what happens when a fighter overlooks another fighter. We just seen it with Wilder. Yeah, and that's another good point because, Saudi, and this might have been the Saudis' fault, but you could tell that their whole thing was ultimately lining up Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. They made they faces real big on the poster and all the other fighters smaller on the poster. So they was letting you know that was the fight that they was trying to build up. And, Wilder was under the impression that he was going to wash Joseph Parker and get the Anthony Joshua fight. He seemed pretty confident in that. And, it took a turn for the worse. And not Derrick James. Anthony Joshua was able to exit stage left right after that. Was able to fight Francis Ngannou, which could have very well been Deontay Wilder fighting him. And, he got some easy money. Jibo says, nah, I think Tim knows what it is. Okay. So y'all don't look at Tim Tszyu's team making another fight while he's in the process of let me see how I word this. Y'all don't think that this man trying to hook up another fight when he's currently about to be in one isn't overlooking or underestimating nobody. I'm gonna keep it a buck. If I'm Sebastian Fundora and I read that, I'm pissed. I'm pissed. Like hands down. Like I'm gonna be like, yo, he negotiating another fight. You ain't fight me yet. We about to fight this weekend, and you over here talking about fighting somebody else. I will feel disrespected. You know what I mean? Because it lets me know that you're so sure of beating me. You know, you don't have that healthy respect for me. It's definitely disrespectful. You know what I mean? Now, like I said, this probably isn't Tszyu. You know, I'm sure he's not the one that's in control of his business. I'm sure that's what he has the manager for, to manage his career. So maybe this is his manager just being confident that his fighter is going to defeat Sebastian Fundora. But regardless, it is disrespectful. You know, and what made it more disrespectful is that he's put it out so publicly. He's admitted it publicly for the people to know. Now, if he was doing it behind the scenes, you know, just keeping it private or whatever, because, you know, that's what Terrence Crawford was doing. Terrence Crawford's been pretty quiet. He's not really speaking on this situation. You know, he playing it low key. But the fact that you currently have a fighter that's about to fight somebody, and you're talking to somebody else to make a fight happen, when that first fight isn't done yet, now you put it out publicly, like you're okay with letting the people know this. It's like, his team is definitely overlooking Sebastian Fundora. You know, and they might be justified in doing so. We just gonna have to wait to see on Saturday, because it could very well happen that Tszyu destroys Sebastian Fundora. I think that Sebastian Fundora is gonna give Tszyu exactly what he's anticipating, which is a come forward, aggressive fight. And Tszyu might take advantage of the situation and might clip that boy in an exchange. That can happen. You know what I'm saying? That definitely can happen. We're not gonna sit here and act like that's not possible or that's not likely to happen. But you know, we just gonna have to wait and see, man. But the fact that they're already in talks, if that don't motivate Sebastian Fundora, I don't think nothing will. And I'm gonna just keep it straight like that, man. Ross says, yeah, that's overlooking on his team's part. You know how the world works. Tim might mess around and get pieced up by Fundora just based on his team's decision making. Yo, that's possible. That's possible, bro. Anything can happen in the sport of boxing, man. Anything can happen in the sport of boxing. We've seen it happen time and time again. There was a story. I don't know if you guys follow boxing back this far, but I remember Tito Trinidad and Terry Norris was supposed to fight each other, right? But they both had bouts prior to that. And, you know, if they were both able to win, then they would have went on to fight each other. I forgot who Terry Norris fought, but Terry Norris had fought this one guy and got destroyed. And that fight ultimately fell apart as a result of that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that's going to happen this time, because it may work out in their favor, but how ironic would it be if Sebastian was to defeat Tszyu? And, you know, now the manager's sitting there like, damn, I just sat down and spoke with Terrence Crawford for nothing. Because now that fight is completely out of our hands. And now it's going to be Sebastian Fundora versus Terrence Crawford, which would be a fight that I would have never guessed what happened in a million years. I would have never thought in a million years that Sebastian Fundora would be stepping in the ring with fucking Terrence Crawford. You know what I mean? But, you know, anything can happen in the sport of boxing, bro. You got to respect the game, man. And I think that if you're already in talks with fighting somebody else, when you have a fight already locked in, you know, you're not respecting the game, bro. Oh, shit, Cigar Talk. What up, what up? Yo, man, we got to chop it up, man. We got to chop it up. I was just using your audio. I hope you don't mind. I was just using your audio to speak on the whole Derrick James situation, man. You know what I mean? I didn't play your video or nothing like that. You know, I didn't show them the video. I'm not about to play with your content like that. I know you work hard for your stuff. You know what I mean? But I did play the audio, and we were just speaking on the situation, man. And I appreciate you for providing the content necessary for me to talk about this, because there's been a lot of questions. There's still some questions. You know what I mean? Definitely still some questions, but Derrick James, speaking on that, definitely provides a little bit more clarity. You know what I mean? Shout out to Cigar Talk for getting all these top interviews, man. I can't wait to be in that position. You know what I mean? I can't wait to be in that position where I could speak to the Rollies and the Frank Martins and stuff like that, man. You definitely locked in with the people, and you on a roll, my brother. So shout out to Cigar Talk. He said, "I just peeped. You cooking, fam? All good. Love what you're doing. I subscribe." Yo, that's dope, bro. Cause I'm subscribed to you as well. That just let me know I'm working, man. That's a humbling feeling right there. So shout out to Cigar Talk, man. We definitely need to lock in though, man. You come on the channel, we could talk some boxing a little bit. That'd be pretty dope. Cause I know you're the one who usually do the interviews, but I would like to see exactly, your thoughts on certain things that's going on in the boxing world. That'd be dope. As a matter of fact, I'm about to follow you on Instagram. So let's I'm about to follow you on Instagram right now. Cigar Talk. Oh yeah. Shout out to Cigar Talk, man. Yo, Mark, me and my boy plan on visiting a friend of ours. We want to visit your gym and check you. You more than welcome to stop by, man. You let me know. William Jimenez, we in the building. I'm in the gym every day. I'm in the boxing gym every day, 5:30. Monday through Friday. You know what I mean? So if you willing to come by, man, we at 2807 North 6th Street, Philadelphia, PA 19133. Man, come check me out. I'm definitely going to be there, just working with my guys, man. If you want to come through, chop it up, shoot the shit, take a picture, whatever the hell you want to do. Because I already had some people come through and be like, yo, bro, I watch your YouTube channel. I wanted to come check you out. It's always dope. It's always dope to know that, I'm being seen out here. So, I always show love. So if you want to come through, feel free to come through, man. I mean, we go get a cheesesteak, whatever you want to do, my brother. You just let me know. Crazy thing, I did that Derrick interview 2 days before the Errol news broke, so I would have got more info if it happened after. Oh, I just thought that you was being respectful of the situation. You know what I mean? You ain't want to step on nobody's toes or be too invasive. So I thought that you not playing a safe route, but just being respectful of their privacy and shit like that. So that was actually okay. 2 days before the news broke. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Well, it still worked out, though. I still think that we got a good indication of what's going on behind them based off of the answer that he gave you. You know what I mean? So that's dope, bro. Yeah, man. You got some good interviews, my brother. I like that because, there's a lot of people that's in position right now, man, that get interviews with big boxing names but don't really know what to ask them. And then at certain points, you get the idea that they don't really know what they're talking about. I mean, they're not educated on the sport. They just sound like they speaking from a perspective of a very casual boxing fan. You know what I mean? Like somebody who did some research last minute type shit, and they ask questions that have been asked a million times. You know what I mean? From what I see from Cigar Talk's interviews, man, you could tell that he has some type of knowledge of the sport. He's understanding of what's going on. You know what I mean? And that's what makes his content good, that you actually understand, that you can tell he actually know what the fuck he talking about. You know what I mean? It's a lot more, how can I say this? It's easier to listen to as a hardcore boxing fan, knowing that the person that's actually conducting the interview knows what he's talking about and not doing some last minute research. For the longest, whenever they interviewed Jerron Ennis, you could tell somebody was a hardcore boxer. Not a hardcore, a casual boxing fan. They'd be like, where did you get the name Boots from? Like, bro, he answered that question like a million times, bro. I know he started to get sick of that shit. You know what I mean? Like, damn, how many times I gotta answer this damn question? You know what I mean? They ask the same things over and over and over. Did little to no research at all. Never got to know the fighter. Nothing. So Cigar Talk definitely don't be on that though, man. He actually be having some good shit. So you got a great platform. Shout out to Cigar Talk. Nicholas Walters looks in great shape for his fight with Adorno. Ooh, let me check that out. I forgot they fight tomorrow. Let me check out that weigh-in. I don't see no weigh-in though. Let me check this out. Where you see this weigh-in at? But listen, man, I was talking about it, I believe it was yesterday. Nicholas Walters in his prime was a scary motherfucker, bro. Scary dude, bro. So, I mean, if he's anything like himself, Joseph better be on his P's and Q's, man. Saying that he looked shredded at the weigh-in. Let's check it out. Oh, yeah. Okay. Joseph Adorno, motherfucker, look kind of Paul, no Diddy. He looked kind of soft in his like abdominal area. He barely got abs. Nicholas Walters looked like he definitely put some muscle on. Definitely look older. His abdomen. He looked like he in pretty good shape, man. Okay. Okay. Yeah, he looks soft. This motherfucker, like he got a stepdad body or some shit. Yeah. I don't necessarily mean nothing. You already know them Mexicans be looking like they be built like you know, a lot of Mexicans, they be built like a fucking grandfathers and shit, and then they throwing bombs for 12 rounds straight. So we know not to really judge based off physiques, but he don't look like he in the best shape from what I see. You know, maybe I'm tripping. I don't know. Been in the game a while though, so I typically know. I see a couple of instances in the fight where Tszyu is gonna have to clinch up when Fundora catches him while they're fighting on the inside. Yeah. I mean, Fundora, he gives away his height, he gives away his reach, but he's pretty solid. He's pretty solid on the inside. He'd be pretty calm when he in the inside, and you know he lets certain shots go. But Tszyu got to have enough distance where you know Sebastian isn't really given that luxury of fighting on the inside. Tszyu should really be making sure that he's catching Fundora at the end of his punches. You know, the more successful he is with that, the more likely he'll get a knockout. You know? Okay. I haven't seen Walters box in years. I remember for his KO of Donaire. Yeah, bro. Yeah, he completely flatlined Donaire. And that wasn't the one that fought Nayua anyway. You know, that was the Nonito Donaire that Filipino Flash. HBO was trying to build Nonito up as like the next Manny Pacquiao type shit. Man, Nicholas Walters smoked that boy, Nonito, man. No disrespect to Nonito. You know, I'm pretty sure that he would agree, you know, but Nicholas Walters was a problem, bro. Like I said, he was the definition of a boxer puncher, bro. Really good fighter. I do think that they started to draw on him afterwards. You know, that I seen that fight with Jason Sosa. They robbed him real bad, bro. Robbed him real bad. He was beating the dog shit out of Jason Sosa. And I think they ruled it like a draw. You know what I mean? And then he was inactive, you know, had him on the shelf. Then they threw him in there with Lomachenko, which I thought was done strategically in all honesty, but maybe that's just me being a hater. I don't know. But, you know, I thought that was done strategically. I seen Ray Jones speak out about it before. You feel me? But that Jason Sosa fight, that was absolutely disgusting, man. They robbed him bad. But it seems like Nicholas Walters has been pretty active. You know, he took a 7-year layoff. Jesus Christ. And then fought as high as 148 pounds. His last fight was at welterweight. So that's definitely different. So I guess he's moving back down to 140 for Joseph Adorno. Let's see. You know, if you coming off of a 7-year layoff, essentially, there's no way you still gonna be at 130 pounds. You know, you let all that weight sit on you, and you know it's gonna be harder to get that weight off. So, you know, Nicholas Walters better kiss that 130 division goodbye. You're gonna have to campaign around 135 to 140, in all honesty. Dorno, I believe he fights at 135 to 140. I gotta see what weight class this is in. It's not showing me nothing. But yeah, man. I'm looking forward to seeing it. You know, Joseph Adorno been with the smoke lately, bro. Joseph Adorno been fighting everybody. You know, his resume includes Edwin De Los Santos, Elvis Rodriguez, you know, Michelle Rivera, Jermaine Ortiz. Come on, man. And these were all recent Jones, like back to back. Within the course, he did all of that within the course of a year. Well, Jermaine Ortiz was in 2021. Then he fought Michelle Rivera right after that. Following that, I mean, 1, 2, so from 2021 to 2023, he been fighting some decent guys. Gotta respect him for that. And Adorno almost got put to sleep against Elvis Rodriguez. He was able to recover and keep fighting. You know what I mean? So that's dope. But saw from the midsection like he been eating too many Debbie snacks. Yeah, look like he had them motherfucking glazed what's that shit? Them glazed twists at Wawa and shit. Them strawberry donuts. Yeah. He wilding over there, man. Look like he had extra Pepsi. He look like he got a lot of sodium sitting at the bottom of his stomach. He had a little pouch and shit. Yeah, that's a bad job. But I'm gonna get up out of here, man. I've been on here for an hour and a half. We had a good amount of people in the chat today, man. I think we got up as high as like 35, 30. You know what I mean? So I appreciate everybody that was tuned in, you know, supporting the live or whatever. You know what I mean? On the next live, I'm definitely gonna be looking to bring some people on just to chop it up with the people. You know what I mean? And really get this shit popping. You know, I've been on some solo dolo shit lately. I gotta start doing more interviews and all that. I don't really like to bother people, bro. You know, I just like to put my content out there, and if you rock with it, you rock with it. If you don't, then it is what it is. But you know, I'm gonna start stepping shit up. You know what I mean? So I can really get shit, you know, get the name more out there. But we had a special guest, Cigar Talk, stop by the chat, man. Shout out to him. You know what I mean? Just recognizing me real quick, man. I appreciate that very much. And I don't think that was his first time checking in neither. So shout out to Cigar Talk, man. But you know, I'm gonna get up out of here. I'm gonna get some rest because I got a long day tomorrow, man, with work and being at the gym and shit like that. So until then, I'll holler at y'all, man. Y'all have a blessed, beautiful day. This is Mazuma TV. I'm out of here, man. Peace.